I do think that the floor man eventually got the ruling right, but it was a very tough spot. And I think the recommendation from our viewers, 100% spot on. The behind buttons would go a long way.
Yeah.
Especially in the deeper games where it makes a huge difference. Ray raises with 8-9. Adam's going to call. So these guys are at it again, seat 9 and seat 2. Wow, what a flop for Ray. And we're going to see some action here. Adam checks it with top pair, top kicker. And Ray has got an open-ended straight draw with the flush draw. We can get fireworks. You can see that Ray is actually a favorite against Adam's hand.
You know what I'm talking about. That's the same guy you're looking for, right? At first I'm like, I want it to kind of be rude. I'm like...
And it's another one of those really weird plays. Ray has bet. Adam has raised him with top pair, top kicker. And Ray trying to figure out how much do you have, what can I play this? How am I going to play this hand? Do I want to re-raise him? And I just think when you're raising here with ace-10, what are you getting called by? I mean, you're...
I think in this specific situation, he's probably raising because the board is so...
Yeah, well, this is what's going to happen, though. And now you get this...
and now what? Yeah.
Now you open the re-raise, and now Ray has re-raised him. And now what do you do with your ace-10? Ray was the raiser pre-flop, and he has bet and now re-raised Adam's check raise. And I think there were a couple of ways for Ray to play this hand. I mean, he could have played it as a raise right here, or he could have actually waited to the turn to raise. His hand is that strong. I wouldn't have minded a call here, and then when your opponent leads out for like 175, you make it 575 or 475, and you take it down there. It looks very strong as well.
Ray and Adam with both about 2,000 behind. Adam slightly covers Ray.
You know, in tournament players, I mean, are they just going to go with it, top pair, top kicker, never going to fold?
Call from Adam.
Adam calls. Queen of spades here, and I mean, Ray, I mean, I assume it's going to go check, and if I'm Ray, I'm going to fire into the bullet here. I'm going to really pound this one.
Yeah, I think you have to bomb it at this point. I mean, you're telling a story.
Yeah, you're saying you've got a big hand.
Yeah, and you do. You have a big hand. I mean, it shrinks a little bit on this turn, but you've got to keep pushing right here. You can't check behind because you're giving it up.
You can see the percentage is actually flipped. You know, there are some players that will, and I've talked to Bart about this extensively as well. There are a lot of players that kind of say, well, should I take the free card now? I've got the free card. Should I take it? And to me, if you're going to play it that way, well, then I would have just played it as a check call and then made the raise on the turn.
Ray does
Instead,
take the
I'm
card.
actually going to bomb another bullet here, and there's the ace, and now you got two pair, and you've given the hand up. And if I'm Adam, I mean, I probably play this as a bluff catcher. I'm not going to bet this.
Yeah, I would check one more time here. But if it's a bummer for Ray. I think if he had made a big bet on that turn, I think he would have taken this down. I don't think Adam could have stood the heat for one more bet. You just have to put your opponent on at least two pair, if not a set, if they're playing it in that manner.
Yeah, on a 10-7 deuce board. Oh, I mean, you could even put him on aces, or you could have put him on queens. I mean, there are a lot of hands he could have had. And it's just really tough with ace-10 to kind of call a big bet. Adam's going to bet 400. Like I said, I mean, you and I have talked about this kind of spot. Bart and I have talked about the spot where in the past, especially in limit hold'em, there are a lot of times where you're raising on the flop to get a free card on the turn, and you take the free card because you're not going to get somebody to fold top pair, top kicker. But in a no-limit game, you could really put pressure on your opponent. And I think if Ray bets out like, 525 on the turn, it's really tough for Adam to make that call.
Harry moved over to seat 5. New player in seat 1.
Shout out to Cajun Dragon.
Cajun Dragon says drinks on him this summer.
Awesome.
I'll take it.
And Ray's raised. Ray has raised.
Ray doesn't see how
wow,
this ace has helped Adam.
Ray has raised this, and you just wonder if maybe, Adam's got to be thinking, okay, all I got is a bluff catcher now. This is a really, you said Ray was nitty. This is not a nitty play. To check back and now raise the river, what story is he trying to tell? Is he trying to say that he's got, you know, a set of queens and he checked it back?
I think, unfortunately
maybe,
for him, Adam
how about
hit
King Jack of Diamonds?
his top pair here, and
how about King Jack of Diamonds?
Doesn't
Is
like
that
to
a hand that
fold.
works? I'm trying to think of a hand that Ray, if I'm in Adam's seat, what hand would Ray raise the flop with and then check back the turn? Aces are very tough to stomach because I've got ace-10. Okay, so I dismiss aces. Would he raise the flop with queens and then check back queens? I don't buy that. To me, it almost screams like King Jack of Diamonds or nothing. But King Jack of Diamonds is one of those hands that is really, really in his range. Because you go, would he raise with overcards and a flush draw? He might. And then he picks up a big draw, even a bigger draw. He checks it back, and now he hits it. I mean, I'm just trying to be like, if I'm in Adam's seat, I have to realize that 2-pair here is just a bluff catcher. There's no way my opponent is value raising worse. It's not like my opponent has ace-7 here, and he is now value raising me. Very interesting spot. This is a hand that I'm sure that Bart will talk about on Crush Live Poker. For many reasons. Yeah, and this is, I mean, Adam has put himself in a quandary. He bets 400 into about, he bet half the pot. So, I mean, but Ray is correctly deemed it as like Ray thinks that maybe this was a blocker bet and maybe I can represent.
Yeah, and that's what I said, but it was tough. You know, Adam does not like to fold, and so this is why this is a great...
He called.
Yeah.
He called. Look at that. He calls. He bangs the table down. He calls. Let's get a shot of Ray's face.
This is a great play from Ray, especially because we always say in live poker, 9 times out of 10, not even 9 times, like 10 times out of 10, people do
that
not
would be
bluff
29 out of
raise.
30 times. That's King Jack of Diamonds, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's in live poker, maybe 99 times out of 100, people are not bluff raising on the river. So it was a great play from Ray. In live poker, you just don't see it. Unfortunately, he's just up against an opponent who he hit his top pair, and he's like, oh, now I got top pair and my 10, and I'm not going to fold.
I mean, I know online players might look at that and go, oh, come on, if you're only putting him on King Jack of Diamonds, there aren't enough combinations. You know, he can have so many other hands there. He can have bluffs in his range. I'm gonna call that. But I think in live poker, you said exactly true. In live poker, that is going to end up being King Jack of Diamonds so often.